Hello viewers, welcome to today's lesson. This is Form 2 Mathematics under Linear Motion. But before we begin, for those who have just bumped into this channel for the first time, kindly subscribe so that anytime we do a video like this, you will automatically be notified. Back to the topic of the day, which is linear motion. The word linear means line and motion is movement, and therefore linear motion is movement along a straight line. When you are moving along a straight line, you are consuming time, you are covering distance and moving at a given or a certain rate. That means in this topic under linear motion, we deal with distance, we also deal with speed and time. And we know for us to get distance, distance is given by speed times time. And if you need time, you take distance, you divide by speed. And if you need speed, you take the distance, you divide by time. And that is how that question is going to be done. Anyway, now let us go through the question. From there, we can be able to work it out. Two towns, T and S, are 300 kilometers apart. Two buses, A and B, started from T at the same time, traveling towards S. Bus B, traveling at an average speed of 10 kilometers greater than that of A, reached S 1.25 hours earlier. Find the average speed of A. So for us to be able to do this question, let us do a sketch of the distances between the two towns. We have two towns, that is T. We also have another town, S. And the two towns are 300 kilometers apart. That means the distance between T and S is 300 kilometers. We have two buses. We have bus A and we have bus B. We are told bus B traveling at an average speed of 10 kilometers greater than that of A, meaning if A is traveling at X kilometers per hour, then B is traveling 10 kilometers more. That means the speed of B is going to be X plus 10, and this is kilometers per hour. Now we know the speed of A, which is X kilometers per hour. The speed of bus B is X plus 10 kilometers per hour. Then bus B traveling at 10 kilometers per hour greater than A reached S 1.25 hours earlier. So the time difference, that is the time of arrival, we have 1.25 hours, translating to, if we convert this into an improper fraction, it is going to give us 5/4 hours. Now, from here, we can be able to work out the question. The first thing we need to do, since we are given the time difference and we have their speeds, what is missing is distance. We also have distance, and therefore we are going to move this way. Let us calculate the time of bus A from T to S. The time of bus A from T to S is going to be equal to, how do we calculate time? Time is given by taking the distance, which is 300, you divide by the speed, and the speed for bus A is x kilometers per hour, and this will give us 300 over x hours. Then we calculate the time of bus B, the time of bus B from T to S. Time will be equal to the distance between T and S, which is 300 kilometers. We divide by the speed for bus B, which is x plus 10, and this one will give us the total time taken for bus B to arrive at S. From there now, we know the time difference, meaning the time taken by bus A and the time taken by bus B, the total difference between the two must give us 5 over 4 hours. Meaning, if we take the time taken by bus A, which is 300 over x hours, minus the time taken by bus B, which is 300 over x plus 10, this must give us the difference in their time of arrival, which is 5 over 4 hours. From there now, we are going to work this question by getting the LCM of the denominators, that is x plus 10 and 4. So the LCM of all the denominators is going to be x, then x plus 10 we multiply by 4. So we take this LCM, we multiply all through, then from there we can be able to work out the value of x, and that value of x will be equal to the average speed of bus A. Now, if I take that equation, which is 300 over x minus 300 over x plus 10 is equals to 5 over 4. I'm going to take this one here, I multiply by the LCM, which is x, then x plus 10, then 4. We also take it here, we multiply by the LCM, which is x, then x plus 10 and 4. Again, we do the same here, which is x, we multiply by x plus 10, we multiply by 4. Then from there, this x and this x will cancel, so that we get 300 into, this one is going to give us x plus 10, then 4. This x plus 10 and x plus 10 goes, so that we have minus 300 times x times 4, and this one here is going to give us 4 and 4 goes, such that we have 5 times x times, we have x plus 10, and from there now we are going to form our equation, then work it out accordingly. Now allow me to wrap this part so that I can get enough space to work out the question. So let me eliminate this part. Let me eliminate this part here, so that we are going to have our 300 into, we have x plus 10 multiply by 4 minus 300 into, this can be 4x straight, or x 4, which is equals to 5 into, we have x, then everything multiplied by x plus 10. From there now we can be able to move on. this is we can bring this 4 here so that we have 300 times 4. We are going to have this is like we have 300 times 4, which is 1200 into x plus 10. This one is going to be minus, this is 300, we multiply by this is 4x, and this one is going to be equal to, this is like x times x, that is 5 into x squared, then x times 10, you get 10x. From here now, if we open the brackets, we are going to have 1200 times x, you get 1200x. Then 1200 times 10, you get positive 12,000. Then minus 300 times 4x, we are going to get minus 1200x. And this one is going to give us 5 times x squared is 5x squared. Then 5 times 10, we are going to have 50x. We have 50x. Then from there, we collect the like terms. We collect the like terms. We collect the like terms here. This is 1200x minus 1200x. This one and this one will give us a 0, so that we remain with 12,000. If we move this 12,000 to the other side, we are going to form a quadratic equation. So we have our 5x squared plus 50x. Then if this one crosses the equal sign, it is going to give us minus 12,000, and that is an equation which is quadratic in nature, so we can equate it to 0. So if we decide to reduce this equation here, if we divide all through by 5, we divide by 5 here, we are going to have x squared. Then here we divide by 5, we are going to have our 10x. Minus, if you divide 12,000 by 5, that is 2. That is going to give us 2400. And this is giving us 0. So from here, this is a quadratic equation which can be worked out using either factorization method, we can use completing square method, or even formula method, but I prefer that we use quadratic formula method. Now using formula method, we know x is equals to minus b plus or minus into b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that is our formula method. And for us to use this method here, we need to identify the value of a, we need the value of b, and we need the value of c, so that we can be able to substitute them direct. So the value of a is equal to the coefficient of the quadratic term, which is 1. Then the value of b is the coefficient of the linear term, which is 10. Then our c is the constant, which is minus 2400. Then from here, we can be able to substitute the values of a, b, and c in the quadratic formula for us to get the value of x. Let me eliminate this upper part here, this upper part, so that we can be able to work out this question here. Now, our x is going to be equal to minus b, which is minus, the value of b here is 10, so it is minus 10 plus or minus into the square root of b squared. What is the value of b? It is 10, so it is going to give us 10 squared, which is 100, minus, we have 4 times the value of a, which is 1, times the value of c, which is minus 24, everything here is going to be divided by 2a, which is 2 times a, and our a is 1. Moving forward, our x is going to be equal to minus 10 plus or minus into the square root of, this is 100. We have, this is 4 times 1, which is 4 times minus 2400, which will give us 9600 plus 100. This one is going to give us, because this is 100 minus, then this one is going to give us negative 9. Then from here, minus and minus will give us a plus. Therefore, our x is going to be equal to minus 10 plus or minus, this is 100 minus minus, which will give us positive 9700. Everything here divided by 2. Then from there now, from there we are going to have this. This is our x, which is equals to minus 10 plus or minus. We have the square root of 9700. The square root of 9700, square root of 9700 will give us 98.49. This is 98.49, correct to 2 decimal places. We divide by 2, and then from there now, the first value of x is going to give us minus 10 plus 98.49 divided by 2, and this one is going to give us, that is minus 10 plus, that is minus 10, we add 98.49, then we divide everything by 2, and the answer is going to be 44.25, that is kilometers per hour. And another value of x is going to give us, that is minus 10, then now this time around minus 98.49, everything divided by 2, and this one is going to give us minus 10 plus minus 98.49, that will give us 108.49 divided by 2, which is going to give us minus 54.25, and of course kilometers per hour. But since our speed cannot be negative, we ignore this value for the negative, and therefore the speed of A is going to give us 44.25, of course, kilometers per hour, and that is the answer for part A of the question. That is the answer for part A of the question. Let us do part B. Let us do part B of the question. Let us do part B of the question. Part B of the question. Part B says, how far was A from T when B reached S? Now what we do here is, we are going to get the distance of A in reference to B, and therefore now we have to first we are doing part B of the question, and the first thing we need to understand is the relationship between A and B. The only relationship between A and B here, we are talking about distance, because how far means distance. But for us to get distance, we know distance is speed times time. Now we need to calculate the time. Time B reached S. Time B reached S. The time B reached S, we know time is given by distance over speed, and we know that the distance between T and S is 300. We divide by the speed for B. The speed for B, since B was traveling at 10 kilometers greater than that, it is going to have a speed of this is for A, which is 44.25. We add the 10, it is going to give us 54.25, and this gives us what time? That is 300. We divide by 54.25, and this one gives us 5.53 hours. Now to calculate the distance, how far was A? Distance of A from T. Now what we need to do is to take the speed of A, and A was traveling at what speed? A was traveling at 44.25. Then we multiply by the time bus B took to arrive at town S, which is 5.53, and this gives us what? This is 44.25. We multiply by 5.53, and this gives us 244 roughly 7 kilometers, and that is the answer to part B of that question. Moving to question number 2, the question reads, Mwangi and Otieno live 40 kilometers apart. Mwangi starts from his home at 7:30 a.m. and cycles towards Otieno's house at an average speed of 16 kilometers per hour. Then Otieno starts from his home at 8 a.m., that is 30 minutes later, and cycles at 8 kilometers per hour towards Mwangi's home. At what time do they meet? This question is very, very simple. Let us do a sketch. This is Mwangi here, or Mwangi's home, and this is Otieno here. We have Mwangi and Otieno. Then the two friends live 40 kilometers apart. Mwangi starts from his house at 7:30 a.m. and Otieno starts at exactly 8 o'clock a.m. Then the question is, we know the speed for Mwangi is 16 kilometers per hour, and then the speed for Otieno is 8 kilometers per hour. So anytime we are going to consider two cases, either two people moving in the same direction or opposite direction, then the issue of relative speed is going to come in, and we will see how to deal with relative speed. Now what we are supposed to do, it is to calculate the time they met. That is what the question is asking. So the first thing now we need to do, let us look at the solution for this question. We need to calculate the distance covered by Mwangi for 30 minutes before Otieno started. Now, distance moved by Mwangi before Otieno started, that is for 30 minutes, which is half an hour. How do we calculate the distance? We know distance is given by speed times time. The speed for Mwangi was 16. We multiply by the time, which is 30 minutes is 1/2 hours or half an hour, and this one is going to give us 8 kilometers. That means the distance, if Mwangi has cycled for 8 kilometers, the remaining distance to be shared between the two is 40 minus that, so we can get the remaining distance. Remaining distance, or distance to be shared, is going to be equal to 40 minus what Mwangi has covered, which is 8, and this gives us what? That 2 kilometers. Then now, these people are going to meet somewhere here, meeting point, but we need the time they met. Since now they are competing for the for the distance in between them, we need to calculate what we call meeting time. Meeting time is going to be equal to the distance apart, or distance between them, we divide by what we call relative speed. So to get the meeting time, we usually take the distance between the two, either vehicles or the two persons, then we divide by their relative speed. And for us to get the relative speed, in this case, for us to get their relative speed, we are going to take for us to get their relative speed, since they are moving, since they are coming to meet, to get their relative speed, for any two people which are coming to meet, or vehicles which are coming to meet, the relative speed is going to be equal to the sum of their individual speeds, and the speed for Mwangi is 16 plus that of Otieno is 8, and this gives us a relative speed of 24 kilometers per hour. That is when they are coming to meet. But if they are moving in the same direction, then to get their relative speeds, you get the difference of the individual speeds. From here now, we are able to calculate the meeting time, and the meeting time, or the time taken for them to meet. Time taken for them to meet. Let me use that one because it sounds a bit. Time taken to meet is going to be equal to the distance apart, which is 32 kilometers. We have already worked out that. We divide by the relative speed, which is 24, and this one is giving us, that is 1. Let us use the calculator there. 32 divided by 24. This one is giving us 1.33, which is 1 1/3 hours. This is 1 and 1 1/3 hours, which translates to 1 hour and 20 minutes, because a third of an hour is 20 minutes, and we need to calculate the time they met. From here, getting the time they met is very, very easy. Time they met is going to be equal to, they started competing at 8 a.m. and then they took 1 hour 20 minutes to meet, and this gives us 9:20 a.m. So meaning the two friends met at exactly 9:20 a.m. and that is the answer to that question. Anyway, once again, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, kindly subscribe, hit the subscription bell below so that anytime we do a video like this, you'll automatically be notified. And in case you have questions, kindly go to the comment section, send us your questions and we shall be glad to address them. Otherwise, thank you for watching.